Hello, everybody, and welcome to Declutter Me, a podcast about organizing and decluttering your life. And hey, Shelina, how's it going?
Hi, hi, Shrag. How are you?
I'm good. So today we're going to kind of talk about your last episode with Jasmine about hoarding, which is a topic has come up on the show multiple times, and we've kind of not really gotten into it much, obviously, because as you rightly said, and you said on last week's episode too. You're not a hoarding expert, right? So we've just
No.
kind of talked mostly about decluttering, and we talk about people and the tendency to accumulate stuff, but not up to the what we would call the medical condition of hoarding.
Yep, exactly. And I say that to people that I'm not an expert. I don't, I have met clients or potential clients who have hoarding tendencies, but not had the opportunity to help them. And I think it does require a whole different set of skills um, and emotions, which Jasmine talked about. The empathy, which we all have as organizers, well, we hope to have as organizers. We have empathy, um, but and the patience. I think you need a lot more patience. Helping these kind of clients because it's a much longer process. So you're taking months, um, you know, sometimes, she says 6 months, maybe a year, even longer, and it's in shorter bursts, So for me, working with clients, I do, 4 hour sessions or, 8 hour sessions. So, and most of the time we can deal with most of the areas. So it's a whole different landscape in that way. And of course, it is a different landscape because there's more things to deal with.
Yeah, and I
I
mean,
like that
she
little joke.
there's
Sorry.
some of the stuff that she was talking about also was about how to approach somebody that has these tendencies because it's an entirely different mind space that they're in when it comes to this
Mm,
stuff. I know you were also I think you asked her about it, right? I think you asked her how does that actually happen, or if you are someone, for example, who might be listening to this or who might have heard that episode and have someone in your life that you care about that it has these tendencies, like how do you go about it? So I think one of those really interesting things. We've spoken on the show about approaching people even from a decluttering point of view, right? Like we're
yeah.
just the fact that that's a tough conversation. Sometimes it's tough, especially when it's family or there are other emotion involved or some existing relationship that makes things a bit complicated. So all of that is like dialed up to 11 when it comes to actually hoarding.
Yeah. And I think, as Jasmine talked about, and as I've said before, having somebody, a third party coming in, such as a professional organizer, we have that impartiality. We don't have that emotional attachment to the person or to the things. So we can give insights and assistance and help on a psychological basis because we haven't got that attachment to you in that way to help you to deal with you know um, the items and yourself, and we can see how to react and how to, like how Jasmine was saying that, you think about the positives and you think about the goals, the happy goals to get to reach to, and we can think in that way instead of the negative side, which you would get with your family members. And I have seen that, even with normal decluttering, I say normal, but decluttering clients, the family members come in, if you're doing a wardrobe and they'll say to them, why are you getting rid of all these clothes? Why are you decluttering? Why are you wasting your money with this person? And it's a negative burden that they put on people coming into the house saying all this stuff. It's emotionally negative.
Yeah.
Um, and imagine that, and just as you said, dial up to 11 if somebody has hoarding. Like the person, people will go, why are you keeping this stuff? Why have you got so much stuff? Why, it's why, negative, negative, negative. And we need to turn it around to make it a positive situation in the long run.
Yeah, and I think it was interesting also because she said that like now people and I think this may be affected because of the last she said in the last few weeks, but a lot of people even are coming to her or requesting the help of a third party even to have that initial conversation because it's
Mm,
impartial and not so it's not even just about the process, it's even about like even just beginning the conversation for people
yeah.
like this where the impartial person actually makes a is very helpful and they do that initial consult with them with
Mm.
her.
Yeah, and I can understand that because no, a lot of people don't understand what organizers do to begin with. And when you're saying then, and a lot of people don't know how to deal with people who have hoarding tendencies or have a lot of clutter and but want to help them. So it's great in a way if people do go to organizers or talk to someone like Jasmine and say, how do I deal with this and how do we get to that point where you can come in and help them? And to have that conversation with an organizer is a great step. That means that they're being more understanding than you would, you know, might expect in these kind of circumstances.
So one of the similarities I realize as well, and I think of course, at the end of the day, we can kind of extrapolate, right, that this is sort of a really really advanced level of
Mm.
the tendency to not give stuff away, right?
Yeah,
And hence we say that it is actually something that is not something we just say somebody's a hoarder is not probably a good thing to say, because this is something that's really advanced and requires
yeah,
and yeah, that's something you guys discuss as well, that the ideal case would be someone who would bring a professional. The ideal case is someone who would bring a professional in for decluttering, but then also would also get potentially therapy or have
yeah,
a mental health professional help out.
yeah,
But when it comes to similarities, like I think she said the same thing that you advocate quite often about the mini decluttering, as you call it. But in her case, it was like trying to reduce this entire project into more actionable goals, right? The smaller, simpler things. So she she took the point of view of safety, right? That there is a safety element to to not having space in your house at the level of hoarding.
yeah,
But if you tell someone that you were going to get rid of your stuff, this is a whole different kind of mindset versus saying, actually, why don't we make sure that you can get your X or Y serviced in the house, and
yeah,
can we make sure that the path to that thing is clear, and
yeah.
do it in a very actionable way?
And whether you're a hoarder or you're just a regular person with a lot of quite a lot of things, say in your kitchen or your wardrobe, at the end of the day, if you take it all out and deal with it all at the same time, you're going to be overwhelmed, whatever situation. Um, and if you have a lot of stuff and then somebody says, we're just going to take it all, that will make you feel overwhelmed as well, even if it's taking it away for a good purpose, but you don't know what might be there. And the thing with them and, with people who have hoarding tendencies is that there's, like she mentioned about the wrapper, that people find it even hard to get rid of a wrapper. It's hard for them to get rid of things because they think there might be something else inside, a piece of
Yeah.
paper or an important note
Yeah, something
or
of value, so
yeah,
connected
or
to somebody that they care about. It could be anything. Yeah.
exactly. And then with the VHSs, I've talked about that there could be important um, footage from there of, say, the UAE when it became the UAE, and a lot of, and I have seen that. Like I have seen this stock footage of Sheikh Zayed and when they were starting the Emirates and stuff,
Mm.
because of the clients I've met, and these fathers have shown me stuff, and I've seen
Interesting.
massive
Yeah.
photos and stuff. It's fascinating. It should be in a museum. It shouldn't be in a cluttered house. But to get them to get to that point of thinking, yes, let's donate it to a museum, or let's, give it to a curator, let's do something with these things, or convert the videos into digital. It's getting to that, but we have to make it a positive thing. And whether you're in the UK or the UAE or anywhere, if you've got a lot of things, we have to turn it around to make it a positive. Like, with this stuff, can we give it to someone else? Can they use it? Can it go to someone like a museum? And that's the way that we need to think. And that Jasmine helped in that way for me to think more, you know, how can we rephrase the steps
Yeah.
when decluttering and organizing,
Yeah, and
even
then
if
I
it's
think
with
it was
someone.
nice, like she one of the examples I think she gave, as I was just alluding to, was she was like saying we'll clean up your room is so vague, and so it's so broad as well, right? Like
Yeah,
what does that mean?
yeah, yeah.
And being more specific is helpful for someone
Well,
that's
for me, yeah,
dealing with
and
that.
I mean, like when we say about bedrooms, I always say I want to help you find everything in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So and we talk about from the moment you wake up, I want you to be able to wake up, reach for your glasses, reach for your phone, reach for your vitamins, go to the bathroom, find your shower gel in
Mm.
1 second, get your toothbrush and your toothpaste, and then get your clothes. Everything should be in 5 seconds. So that is the way I talk about it. And maybe
Right.
every organizer has a different method, but
Sure.
at the end goal is I want you to be able to flow through your room in the morning within, like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Can you do it all in that time instead of getting upset and frustrated and swearing and yelling at yourself in that time? You know, so yeah, we have to think about it in a different way, I think.
Like once you hear it, it kind of seems obvious, but actually it isn't, right? Like when you're kind of, and this is something I think even me as a person, when I'm setting out to clean something, right? There are so many times when I'm like, okay, I gotta take care of my room today, or I gotta clean up my room today, and just the idea of like this whole room has to be taken care of is just a daunting
It's too
task.
much. Yeah, it's too much.
I mean, and not in that way, and I don't mean to compare, but I just mean it's daunting in the sense, be like, man, I have like 6 things to do, and I don't want to spend more than an hour doing this stuff, and so then those two things just don't align together, right? Whereas if I
Yeah.
were to just say, listen, today I'm just going to take care of, I don't know, my bed or my closet or the
Mm.
dresser or something like that, I would feel a lot more motivated to take care of it.
Yeah, and I think that's a great example of what Jasmine was saying as well. The other thing she talked about, and I've forgotten, really
Yeah, I
bad.
think she just said it was a clutter rating, but yeah.
Yes, the clutter rating system. That's what it's called. Right. That's it. Thank you. Yeah, the clutter rating system. So, and I've seen it, and I've gone to mini sessions about hoarding to just help me to see how I can help clients here. And that's a good thing to look at as well, to see if and I will find a pit, an example of the clutter rating system to put on the blog so that people can see that, and then you can have a look as well and see if you think somebody has hoarding tendencies. You can then see what number they're on in their house, and then that could help you to decide you know uh, if they do need help and what kind of help they need. um, but yeah, if but I mean, it does take a long time. It's not something, it's taken that long to get that much stuff in the house, so it's going to take a long time to get rid of that stuff. And there's, of course, a lot of psychological issues usually associated with hoarding, as there is with most people who have clutter. Not most people, well, quite a few people.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so we'll have those links in the show notes. We'll also have, of course, links to Jasmine stuff, so that people can reach out to her if they want to just have a consult with her. And as always, you can also reach out to Shelina by reaching out to Decluttr Me. That's DECLUTTRME on social media. And even if it's a problem like this, I mean, you can definitely reach out to Shelina, and then she can direct you, maybe either to Jasmine or somebody else who could help.
Yeah.
But it's important, I think, and I think this is kind of the main, rather one of the things that came out of the episode, which was having the third party involved in getting through that process, is I think pretty important, or it sounds like it is,
Mm.
even from what Jasmine was saying, because it helps make a big difference in tackling something that is this serious.
Yeah.
So definitely do that. So that's all we have for you this week, guys, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.